Hi! So, as you can tell from the title of this video, this isn't a positive video. It might be kind of triggering to people who have suicidal thoughts or have tried this or have self-harmed using overdoses, toxic stuff, things like that. So today where I am, it's Thursday. I don't know if you're from America, Australia, Canada, just anywhere else, but I'm in England, obviously from my accent, and today's Thursday. So last week on Monday I weighed myself and I looked in the mirror. I didn't like what I saw on the scales. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror, and I decided to do something very stupid. I wasn't planning to do this or anything, but it was one of those spur of the moment things where you're not thinking, you're just panicking. I went to the shop and I bought some ibuprofen tablets. I can't even say it. And there's a pack of 16. They shouldn't have sold me them because I am 15. It's my birthday in 15 days, but I'm 15 at the moment, and they're not supposed to sell tablets to minors, under 16s, and they're supposed to ask for ID, so yeah. But anyway, I bought a pack of 16 tablets, and I was walking around and I took them all. I had no regrets at that moment. I told one of my friends. She told me to tell my science teacher the next morning at school as soon as I could, because my science teacher always told me if there was any problems concerning self-harm or anything, I should speak to her, because obviously she knows my situation. I went to bed okay that night. I didn't have any pains, any aches, didn't feel sick, nothing like that. So the next morning I'd hugged my mum and she thought everything was okay. She was smiling, she was really happy, and I felt so bad just because I knew what I was going to do that day. I knew I was going to tell somebody. She'd end up finding out and it would just mess her up and my stepdad up completely. So I felt so bad hugging her that morning. I went to school. I got on the bus as normal, everything like that. Went straight to the science room, my teacher, told her what happened, and I had to go to the medical room. She stayed with me the whole time. They had to call an ambulance and, of course, my parents. The ambulance got to school, they were really calm with me, because it turns out the day before, some other girl in my school had done exactly the same as me and had to have the paramedics come to school as well. So, yeah, and they took my blood, my blood pressure, they had to monitor my heart with one of them pulse checker things they put on your finger. They took a prick of blood from my finger, and we had to wait for the ambulance, and the ambulance was already there. My parents to get to school, and my mum and me went in the ambulance. She'd been crying. My stepdad was so angry and upset. My stepdad followed the ambulance in the car. We got to A&E. I had to have loads more throughout the day. Basically, was a lot of waiting, and I had to have loads more heart monitors, questions asked. I had a blood test. I had my heart and blood pressure and that taken. So yeah, after hours and hours of waiting and questions being answered and asked and things like that, they said, "We've set up a bed for you." I was like, "Excuse me?" They were like, "You're going to have to stay overnight so we can observe you." I was like, okay then. And I was just shocked because I'd never stayed in a hospital before overnight, ever, for anything. And to have my first stay in a hospital be because of psychiatric problems wasn't the way I really wanted to remember the first time I ever stayed in a hospital. Like, hospitals creeped me out as it was, because just the way I see it is, it's life. Basically, it's birth, death, and everything in between, all under one roof. And the fact that I was staying there was just, I just was so terrified. I didn't know what to think. And my best friend visited me though in hospital, so that was nice of her. But then my parents had to, like, they stayed with me for a while, and then they had to go because of my little brother had to be looked after at home. And I wasn't put in a psychiatric ward or anything, I was put in the children's ward. So, yeah, and at 10:30 at night they checked my blood pressure and everything, did all the routine checks. I went to sleep. Got woken up again at 2 in the morning, more checks. Got woken up again at 6 in the morning, more checks. Then I was free to go on the Wednesday, so I only stayed for one night, but it gave me so much time to think, and I am just ashamed of, like, I know it's good to come out and talk about these things, but I'm just ashamed that I had to make this video. It's one I never thought I'd have to make, because I feel bad, because I'm supposed to be helping you guys recover when I end up in hospital at my lowest point, because I was stupid and tried to kill myself. I mean, how am I a good role model for you guys by trying to kill myself when I'm supposed to be helping? What I've learnt from this really bad experience is, like, with depression, you're gonna, like, hit a very low point before you admit that you have a problem, before you finally truly admit it to yourself. And it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be pretty, and it's just something you have to go through, I think. You might not want to accept it, but I also realised that a lot of people care about me, which I never really understood. Like, obviously only my parents cared, but I got a phone call from 3 of my friends sobbing down the phone, asking if I was okay, and other friends were crying because of what happened. And one of my friends, who I didn't even think cared that much about me, said that he was really worried and he was all over the place and he felt horrible when he found out, and that he actually cared about me. I honestly didn't think he did, to be honest, that much. So I'm not saying doing something this drastic will get you sympathy. I mean, like, just, people do care. Whoever you are, there is always somebody who cares, okay? I care. I might not even have met you, but I care for every single one of you that is going through similar problems to me, if not the same. Because I know what it's like, and trust me, I never want you to get to this point where I was back then. So, yeah. And they're still not changing my medication, which I think is stupid. They've put me on the emergency waiting list for counselling, but my medication's still it's not being altered, it's not being changed, nothing's happening. They're just going to keep me on them. I mean, that really frustrated me. Really frustrated me. Well, thank you for watching this. I hope you lot are all okay. What can I say? Just stay strong, I suppose.